We're going to be talking about Starfield. And the description and the title of this video is I had to force myself to like Starfield, and it was worth it. And I think a lot of us have the same sentiment because here's the thing: the Starfield Direct, that big presentation, was one of the greatest, and it's not going to be talked about like this, but we got to keep it real, was one of the greatest video game presentations ever made. Not just by Bethesda, but in the gaming industry ever made. I've never seen a presentation put together so beautifully. The way the developers was talking about the game, showing the game off, Starfield was like a dream come true. And it made a lot of our expectations for this game shoot to the moon, including mine, if our expectations wasn't already up. It was beautiful. The game got delayed a couple of times, but if you're a fan of Skyrim, if you're a fan of Fallout, you know them games was great, so you knew Starfield was going to be great. When they showed the direct, you knew it was going to be great. They showed you direct all the different things you can do, all the worlds, all the planets. Todd Howard and his team was passionate. It was a beautiful thing. Fast forward to when the game actually released. It was well, first of all, the reviewers got a hold of it a week or two earlier before the general public got a hold of Starfield. And we was all kind of shocked and stunned that a lot of outlets that played the game early when their embargo was lifted was saying it was a little disappointing. A lot of us like, no, 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 no. Disappointing? No, no, not this game. We just saw the Starfield Direct. How was it disappointing? You're wrong. And when the game came out for everybody to play, and I'm gonna speak for myself, it was disappointing because from that Starfield Direct, the Starfield Direct made Starfield look like the greatest video game ever made in history. You can do what you want to do. It's Starfield in space. It was unfreaking believable. But then when we got the game, it was like, wait a minute, what's going on? The three things that hit us with the disappointment. And well, I'm just gonna speak for myself, and a lot of you will agree. That hit us with the disappointment the first time Starfield was released was the boundaries. Meaning, these planets, you can't just walk the whole planet. There was an invisible wall at a point. And you're like, wait a minute, a invisible wall? Because this game, before it even came out, was compared to No Man's Sky, an indie company that made same type of game. You can go to different planets. But on their planets, you can go all around the planet. It'll take hours, and I'm not sure if you really want to do it, but you could do it. So we thought surely a AAA company, a huge company with a huge budget as Bethesda, where you could be able to do that. And you couldn't. So that was the first devastation that I felt. Like, oh my gosh, you can't, it's boundary walls. What? The second disappointment, and this wasn't shown in the Starfield Direct at all. It just hit us like a ton of bricks. How many loading screens to get to certain places? That was devastating news to me. We couldn't believe that there was literally so many loading screens to get to here, to click that, to click here. Now, to be fair, and I said this before, you have to fast travel because there's just so many planets, but at the same time, some of the loading screens you think are unnecessary. A loading screen to get off the ship, a loading screen to get in the ship, a loading screen to get in the building, a loading screen to get off the track, a loading screen to get up, a loading screen to get into space, a loading screen to get out of space. It was just too many loading screens. That was devastating, and it was not mentioned that I've seen until the video game was released. Till we start to play it. That's number two devastation. Number three devastation. I'm not gonna say devastation, disappointment is that the NPCs didn't to me, and that's the one thing I looked at. The NPCs was janky. Like they didn't act like Skyrim NPCs. Oblivion, they, you they acted weird. Now they're not a huge big deal, but there's certain things you couldn't do with these new NPCs that you could do. Like you can get them mad. That they won't forget that you pickpocket them. Uh, with Starfield, you can pickpocket an enemy. He catch you, and then he'll stand back up and forget about it. Hey, how you doing? You like welcome to my shop? It's kind of janky. So that was another disappointment. There's other disappointments I can't think of right now, but there was other disappointments in the game. A lot of people said it's boring. The planets are nothing to do on the planets. Um, but here's the thing with Starfield that made me fall in love with it. Starfield, but despite all that, it because I saw that we saw that Starfield direct, and I'm like, okay, we have all these loading screens, all this other stuff going on. But if you ignore all that, there's a great game inside this game, and I had to be extremely patient because first of all, to level up or to advance your character as far as skills, it takes an extremely long time. So we had to deal with that. It's- to do certain things, you have to do a skill. There should be tutorials on how to do certain things. Are so complicated. It's like why even bother? There's a lot of things. The maps are horrible. So it's kind of like personally for me, I had to ignore all that because deep inside I'm like, no, there was too much hype. There was this is Bethesda's team. I know they had Fallout 76, but there is something in this game. I'm gonna have to fight as hard as I can to get through this game, to get to where the fun begins. And not to backtrack too much, here's the reality also. This is 2023. Let me close the blinds right quick. Had to close the blinds, sunlight was in my face. This is the year 2023. And what that means is we got to be real. I have never seen in my life so many video games being released from indie companies, AAA companies. It's video games coming out of every direction. And what's happening to me, if you ask me, is that people are choosing wisely. Their time is dwindling down of what they're going to spend their time doing as far as entertainment. Am I going to be spending my time playing a video game? Am I going to be spending my time playing this video game, that video game, or watching that TV show, or watching football, or watching basketball? I only have a moment. There's so much forms of entertainment. I can't do everything. I can't just entertain myself. I can't. I can't stay all over. So what I'm saying is, video games, if you ask me, from here on out, has to get your attention span, and you has to get your attention fast in a hurry. That's why I believe video games that's cinematic, like a movie video game, like Spider-Man, or kind of like The Last of Us, like where there's a cinematic uh, game, That's where the gaming industry is going as far as the attention span. Like Spider-Man 2. Once you put in Spider-Man 2, it's action packed. You're fighting the spoiler alert if you haven't played Spider-Man 2. You're fighting the Sandman. You're going over buildings. He throwing. It's like action packed as soon as you play. And you like blown away. Like, oh my gosh, Starfield doesn't do that, which people today want to act. They want to see the action. It takes too long with Starfield to get going, and everyone's going to come when you play the game. You're going to be faced with the reality of, am I willing? Am I willing? Is it going to be worth it? Me continuing, because to truly enjoy Starfield, you're going to have to play it for hours and hours, and I mean, you're going to have to play it for an extremely long time. And in fact, I believe, and this is what I'm doing, it's almost like this is the only video game I'm playing right now. Now it's worth it. I'm loving Starfield now, but it took a lot for me to overcome the hurdle, because I don't have time for other video games. It's just Starfield, baby. Now I may have one time for one other video game. I've been playing Mario Wonder, but other than that, I got some TV shows I like to watch. So Mario Wonder, Starfield, and a little bit. I'm trying to play Spider-Man 2, but it's like I with the video games, you got story. You get disinterested in one of the games or the other if you play one too long. So it's kind of like I'm sticking with Starfield and Mario Wonder. I can handle those two games. Some gamers can handle 5 games, 6 games all at once. But some guys don't watch TV. I say I watch television. I watch movies. I like to go to the movies. I like different. I got HBO Max, Disney Plus, all shows. So it's kind of like with the video game entertainment part, I just focus on 2 games. With Starfield, you can only, it appears that you can only focus on Starfield. It's just so big, it's so massive, it's taking hours of your time. But you can do what you want. It's just my personal opinion, my way of doing things. It takes way too long to get going, way too long to level up, and there are times still that I'm like, really? I gotta level up to do this? But after you, and it's a shame, and some people are saying it's a shame that you have to do this. You have to have this mindset to enjoy Starfield. Because this is not the only way to enjoy Starfield. The way I'm talking about it, but a lot of people I've seen saying the same thing I've said. It gets good after so many hours, and I'm not just talking about 4 or 5 hours. I'm talking about 40 hours, 100 hours. Then it start getting good, and that's what happened to me. It started getting good after maybe 160 hours. It started getting good. I'm starting to get interested. Now there are certain things in the game that I don't agree with. Spoiler alert, New Game Plus. Spoiler alert, New Game Plus and Starfield to me doesn't make sense, because now it'll be fine if you explain New Game Plus before I start playing the game, because New Game Plus, as you know, you can go to a different universe, get a different Starborn suit, see a different alternate beginning of the game with the constellation, but I lose all my progress. When I played Starfield from the beginning, I didn't know about New Game Plus. I built a bunch of ships. I started building this. I started doing a bunch of side missions before I went to the main mission. And I'm going to lose you once you go to New Game Plus. You lose all your progression, far as ship building, weapons, side quest. And I'm not willing to do that. Maybe one day, but I'm still on the side quest. I beat the main story, but I haven't chose to go to New Game Plus, and I'm enjoying the game really good right now. I'm just explaining to my side of the things of how Starfield got good to me. Now, should a game take this long to get good? No. But Bethesda and Todd Howard seem to me to be really to have big dreams, big admirations. They go big or go home, and they knew, they had to have known it was going to be a risk. Some things was risky to do. Some things maybe they may not thought we would overlook, like the loading screens. Maybe they might have thought we would have overlooked the loading screens, but in these days, we are more critical of movies, games than ever before. But in that shining light, and I'm not going to make this video go too long. I'm going to make a part two. By the way, subscribe to this channel right now. Subscribe to this channel. This channel is a new channel. I got another channel, but I talk about wrestling games. This channel right here, I'm just talking about Starfield. I'm talking about RPG games. I'm talking about maybe Spider-Man later on down the line. So it's more content to come. I'm going to continue this conversation. So don't go anywhere. Come back, like, and subscribe to this channel because this channel just started. The videos are going to be uploaded, coming, talking about this subject. But if you can get through all that, and it seems like a daunting task, this game is one of the greatest games I've ever played, Starfield. It's one of the greatest games I've ever played. One of the most addictive games I've ever played. Despite all that complaining I just said at the beginning video, and I'm going to talk about it in more videos to come, this game is my game of the year. Starfield is one of the greatest Bethesda games ever made. But I had to get through all that complaining I just told you, me personally, to get to this point. Because I refuse to believe that Starfield Direct, as great as it was just fluff. Once you get past all that stuff I said, or if you enjoy that stuff I said, well, then that's fine. But it was a struggle at times for me to get through that. I had to have faith in Bethesda in that game to keep pushing forward, and it paid off. I'm a fan of Skyrim, Fallout games, so I knew that it was a method to this madness. It's a method to the madness. And once you get through the madness, you see the method, and then you understand the game. But we're going to be talking about that in another video to come, a continuation of this subject, because this is a long subject. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up. I don't want this video to go too long. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, RPG Cat. Starfield Talk. We're going to be getting in it. And some of you may say, you're defending this game. You're delusional. No, I'm not, man. This game is great. My game of the year. Will it win game of the year? I don't know. It's going to be a nominee for sure, but I think Starfield in the reality is going to be appreciated 2 years from now. A year or two from now, Starfield will be appreciated for what it really is, and we don't even know how truly big this game is. Now, some people say I 100% completed the game. See, look at the achievements. There's so many side missions. I think that's a threshold of how many side quests and the main story that if you beat the game will say, yeah, you 100% completed. But there's no way you 100% complete this game. This game is longer than Skyrim, longer than Fallout combined, from what I'm understanding. So I don't think Starfield will be truly appreciated 2 years from now. But this game is going to be getting its props at some point in the next few years. Right now, people don't understand this game. Like I said, it's not in tune with the times. We need to hurry. These games these days needs to hurry up and get our attention. Hurry up. We're going to be criticizing. Then again, and we got DLC that's coming out for Starfield. We got new patches that come out for Starfield. There may be a few surprises with the patches. You never know. Just like No Man's Sky, the game got better during the years. And some of you may say, and I agree, that the game need to be good when it comes out. We don't need to have a patch machine here when you give us a half-baked game and patches. I agree with that. But Wacky Cat, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and